Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Marvel Strike Force. Happy Wednesday. I was like, what day is it today? I can't even remember. It's been a bit of a blur here since I've been in Switzerland. So we're here for another short video, but we have a few things to talk about, including what is going to be the upcoming Quasar Scourge. It looks like that it is going to be coming a little bit sooner than maybe we thought, but I guess it's returning every month. So, you know, it's going to be somewhat of a more regular occurrence as well. There's also going to be a new promo code that launched last night, it would seem. As always, I wake up in the morning and find out things that have happened. That's just the state of things when you're in Europe. And, you know, the resets at a really rough time. But anyways, we're going to talk about a couple of things, including what happened yesterday. So if you're ready to go, everybody, let's boil this down. Okay. Nope, that's not where I wanted to be. Okay, so we're going to start here at the player gifts category, or aka the promo code area. So this promo code did drop yesterday. I do just want to remind people about this. If you haven't done this yet, it is Community Intel Drop. And this has to be all capital letters, is my understanding. Now, it's not super amazing, but it does expire on May the 20th, so just make sure you get it in now. You know, it's better than nothing, I suppose, at this point. So, Community Intel Drop. This should work. I'm going to click Redeem because I haven't done it yet. And we will get yourself 2 million gold and 20,000 Intel. They don't have, I guess, a graphic for whatever reason for the Intel. So there you go there. And it should show up in-game for me, hopefully. We're going to talk about Battle World in a second. I should be able to back up, and we do get the 20,000 Intel. Now, speaking of Intel, you know, I do want to kind of remind people, of course, about the weekly spending requirement for the command center. Now, depending on, you know, what you ended up doing for the week, hopefully you're able to do this. Currently, I have, make sure you're at least spending 100K, right? Like, ideally, you want to spend the 300K every week. But the way that I'm doing it is because I don't know how much intel that we're getting from week to week. Like, maybe we get over 300K, you know, maybe we don't. I don't know, right? We never know. So I'm just spending the 300K and then I'm stopping, because even if I do have an excess amount of intel, I can always spend it later. So I always want to make sure that I'm just clearing the weekly objectives and making sure that I do this every single week. So I have more than enough right now, because I think I am sitting on about 300,000 myself. I need to spend another 180K, so I will have about 160K left over going into that. So that shouldn't be that much of a problem. And I also do actually have one of these monthlies still saved up for Silver Sable, one of the claims here, just in the event that Harbinger week 3 or week 4 has something else that is related to earning intel, because week 1 did have that. So you never know, right? Also, Harbinger week 2 is live with a special flash variant here of Battle in Battle World. Now, this has gone live, of course. I heard there were some issues, you know, if you were not in your, or if you were like sitting around at reset time, that maybe it didn't launch properly, is what I read in the news, that there was something about this. But just make sure that you're paying attention to this. You get this cleared when you clear or fail a Battle World level, because I did all 3 stages and I only got 3 out of 9. So I guess it's like a pass or a fail on Battle World. We'll talk about that very quickly here. One thing that I do want to note, particularly with Zone 1, is, once again, you know, the Astral stuff was complete auto. At least a D5, I put my Astral on auto and it was fine. The new Global or Harbinger Herald mission, I want to say that this was actually very hard to use with Vigilantes. I really do not recommend using Vigilantes. I don't even know why it was a thing. By the time my Vigilantes took a turn, 2 of mine were dead. My Daredevil was dead and somebody else was dead, and it was not good. What I would recommend is what others have used, but what we used before, really, it was basically Apocalypse and Orcus. That was the easiest thing here. I had no problems doing it that way. So the 4 Orcus with Apocalypse, and this was still the easiest way to do that. For stage 1, I did, I think I did all X-Men, to be honest. I did Old Man Logan, Phoenix, Beast, Storm, and Jean Grey. And also not really that much of a problem. There's a little bit of RNG sometimes with like the passive on Thanos Endgame. Sometimes this can land at a very inopportune time. Also, the Void Knight typically goes and drags your characters together, and sometimes if you don't stun Kang, you know, he's going to do some AoE stuff on your characters, and maybe it hurts a little bit. But it wasn't too difficult overall. So I just wanted to share some of the comps that I used on my side to get through on Zone 1. We have Zone 2 tomorrow. I don't really recommend using the Harbinger characters in the Herald missions. So, I mean, I guess for Zone 2, is it going to be the same kind of thing here? It's Global or Harbinger again. But these are the, if I'm not mistaken, these are similar to last month's. So I really don't think that the Harbinger characters are actually really worth using unless you're, maybe it's designed for Thunderbolts. But honestly, like the Vigilantes, yes, I had the Safeguard, but I still got my ass wrecked. Like it's just, it was not, at least on the first mission. Maybe things are different on the second one. But yeah, Zone 1 was a bit rough for using the Vigilante characters. So there you go. Anyways, you know, just use what you normally would use, and I think you would get through just fine. I guess this is just an update for, you know, people who are coming in now, maybe newer players, something like that, on lower difficulties, but just giving my experiences here on difficulty 5 anyways. And as far as other stuff going on, you know, we got the Ultimate 16 coming up later on this week, right? It starts in a day and a half, or at least as of recording. So make sure that you set your defenses. Now, I'm really not paying a whole lot of attention. I might end up fixing this later on. Again, on holiday right now, we're not really thinking too hard about what I'm doing. These were some leftovers from the last season, so I haven't adjusted. So don't take that. Don't copy me at all. But yeah, there's only 3 rooms, so that should make it a little bit easier. We have the raid room, right? I'm thinking of putting Uncanny Avengers in here, to be honest. I haven't really thought too hard about some of these other ones, the Spore Attacks or Combat Support. So I might just throw in Uncanny Avengers here and see how they get on, because that might be a better use, at least instead of Vigilantes, which I might just keep on the offense. So that's Cosmic Crucible coming around this week. I do want to talk a little bit about the Quasar Scourge, though, because there was some stuff in the data mines, and I want to just drag this over from my other screen here, just to kind of show some of the stuff here. And so I'm going to go into my data mines little screen here. It's not a lot, but there was a couple of things here to mention, which is at the bottom, is that there is this new orb coming out called the Negative Zone Orb. But you can see that the ID is Gotcha Crate Quasar. So this is somewhat associated with the Quasar Scourge, probably. It says it contains gear tier 20. Thank F for that, because, you know, the negative zone right now does not. It says collect fragments from the negative zone. Now, what's interesting is the negative zone we have ongoing right now is called Negative Zone Harbinger. I think everything is just a negative zone. Like, I think the Scourge name is going to be called Negative Zone Quasar. Like, I think, like, everything for the next 3 months, or maybe even for the next year, everything is just a negative zone. Honestly, I think that's what they're doing. The titling is going to be very easy. And so that's just my thoughts there, because there were some offers, some data mine offers about the Quasar Scourge. And so that kind of suggests it's next week. Normally the data mines are, you know, like a week out. Maybe sometimes it can be like 10 days, but because we're on Wednesday, like, I really don't think it's going to be like a week and a half from now. It could be. But so it's either going to be next week or the week after. But I think that, you know, we're going to be unlocking Quasar very soon as well on week 3. So I think it makes sense for it to come out on week 3. So there were some other offers related to Thunderbolts and Vigilantes, who I think are going to play a very important role in the Quasar Scourge as well. So that's something to note. So let's just jump back to the scene really quick. Because I think that where we're currently sitting at with the Harbingers and with, you know, if you've claimed this other monthly, right, like you're getting a little bit further along on the Quasar shards. Like, you could be up to like 120, maybe 130, depending on. And so after the next set of daily objectives, I'll be at 120. And then if you did this stuff, like if this is already over for you, you'd be at 140, possibly 150 shards, right? So by the time you get to week 3, you know, we're going to have Quasar unlocked. And I think some of the dealio is that you're going to be wanting to use Quasar in the Quasar Scourge. I think, like, this is kind of like harkening back to the old Scourges of like Morgan Le Fay, because I remember, like, you would unlock Morgan Le Fay and then you would use her in her own Scourge. So I kind of think that's what's going on with Quasar. So he should be unlocked sometime next week for most players, at least at the 4-star level. And then you'll be running the Scourges to get additional red stars for Quasar. I don't have any more data mines for next week's events yet, in terms of, a lot of people have been asking me questions about my energy and stuff like that. You know, because I'm still kind of sitting around hoarding my energy. I honestly, I think I'm very close to liquidating it. You know, just because I'm not really doing anything. Both my ISO 8 and my campaign energy, I'm doing 300 a day right now for the daily objective for this. But beyond that, you know, I guess I'm kind of hoping that it comes back. But if the next leaderboard event does not contain energy, like, which will be next week, then at this point, I think that there's probably nothing going on with energy at all. and so I might just end up liquidating it for some training modules or something. I'm not sure, because I don't know if it will come back or not, or if it's going to be quite some time before we see energy reappear in events. So, or at least to any large degree, right, where it's going to matter for leaderboard events. So that's just it for now. I don't have anything super big else to talk about. I don't think there's anything worth it. Negative Zone Harbinger, again, I'm not really working too hard on that. I'm not doing it really. I just don't have enough time right now. I heard it's, you know, not as hard as the Fallen Dimension Omega, but I just don't have the time right now. And being on holiday, I have a little bit of better things to do. The rewards are not super crazy either. Make sure you get into the Shadow King trials though and do the rewards for that. The funny thing is that the rewards from the Shadow King trial is almost on par, possibly better than the Negative Zone Harbinger. Just absolutely crazy how that one is. But otherwise, I think that's going to be the end of this short video here on Wednesday, and I will see you guys on the next one. Have a great rest of the week.
And if you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and you'll be greatly helping out the channel. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.